What a weird week, January 2nd, 2026. This is our year in review. Join me, shall you?
Hi, everybody, it's weird.
This is like crazy being here. Like,
Weird.
Really weird tales.
Bigfoot eats out of my trash.
Well, I got a great show for you today with some wonderful weird stuff.
Hi, friends. I'm Scott. This is What a Weird Week, a show where we go back through the news of the week. We pick out 10 of the weird, the fun, the interesting stories, and we do a countdown every week that takes about 15 minutes to get through. This week, different. We're going back through all the stories of 2025. We're picking out a top story from each month, and we're doing a top 12 of the year. Do you need anything that we talk about in more detail? You can go to shownotes.page. We put all the show notes and all the stuff about the podcast at shownotes.page. Here we go.
January.
The Charlottetown meteorite. This is East Coast Canada, Prince Edward Island, where a fellow named Joe went out to walk his dog. When he got back, his front path had all this debris. To me, it looks like if you took a package of sidewalk chalk and just smashed it. But Joe was like, what the heck is going on? And there was a little indentation in his front walk. So he goes to the security camera. It's a meteorite. He scoops up some of the stuff, sends it away. So it happened in the summer, but now it's official that it's a meteorite and it got its own official name, the Charlottetown meteorite, named after Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, Canada, North America, planet Earth. First of all, Joe was like, I was on that walk not that long ago. That thing could have hit me or something. So that's kind of scary. Then the other thing is they think Joe is the first person to ever capture a recording of what it sounds like when a meteorite hits planet Earth. This is what it sounds like. Yeah, so it sounds like, something hitting the ground. But still, actually, it sounds like somebody just got fed up with a bunch of Legos and threw them out the window. We'll link to the thing if you want to watch the video of the meteorite hitting Joe's front walk. Click shownotes.page.
February.
From the Manchester Evening News, a 13-year-old boy arrested at hospital for impersonating a doctor after turning up wearing scrubs and a fake ID. The headline kind of says it all. The 13-year-old boy shows up in scrubs, ID, and apparently strutting around like some sort of doctor. The headline says the boy was arrested, but no charges were laid. Words of advice were given, and that was it. What do you think was going on here? Some kind of dare? Some kind of social media stunt? Was the young person trying to get a job, save enough money to get an iPhone? What was happening? Look, I'll say this. It took some gumption. I don't want to encourage illegal behavior, but that is something that took some gumpsh. But again, you youngsters coming up through the ranks, trying to think of fun stunts to do and ways to pass the time, please do not impersonate a doctor.
March.
The lunar eclipse that occurred today. This episode originally published Friday, March 14, 2025. Well, in the wee small hours of today, we had a lunar eclipse. We had the full March moon, which different names, different places, but a lot of headlines called it the worm moon. And then it was eclipsed this morning. And to celebrate that, Capri Sun, the soft drink company, came out with some moon juice. And the packaging glows in the dark, you guys. That's a nice touch. Glow in the dark stuff is coming back. I gotta say, I love it that the company named after the sun can also claim the moon. I love it. We live in a world where the sun and the moon can get along. And I'm sure somebody thought of renaming the brand Capri Moon instead of Capri Sun. And I'm sure that the branding department shut that one down pretty quick, probably freaked out. We can't do that. We can't do that. It's my impersonation. I wasn't in the meeting, but the other thing is soft drinks. There's a lot of competition, so that the marketing department got in the headlines this week with a publicity stunt. And we're talking about it today on this show. That's a win right there. The rest of the soft drink companies are jealous, and that's the name of the game.
April.
It's an amazing Quicksand love story. A Michigan man who escaped quicksand and gained a girlfriend or better half, partner, whatever the right term is, because I don't think the article got into, I think the article says Michigan man escapes quicksand, gains girlfriend. So this is about Mitchell and Brianna, colleagues, co-workers, and friends. And they were walking on the beach Think they were, friends and perhaps seeing where it went, right? They're walking on the beach. This is Reynolds Street Beach. Mitchell started to get stuck in the quicksand of the beach. Couldn't move his left leg. He whips out his phone, calls 911. So does Brianna. And here's where it gets romantic. First of all, everything's fine. Mitchell's fine. Firefighters, God bless first responders. Thanks for always running towards the danger to help others. So Mitchell was rescued by firefighters. But as he's calling 911, and as she's also at the same time calling 911, he says something like, I think my girlfriend is also calling you at the same time. And she's like, my boyfriend needs your help. That was the first time he called her a girlfriend. That was also the first time she called him a boyfriend. That's how they found out how they both felt about one another. I wish every relationship had a 911 call where you found out where you stood. I know it's not possible. Thank you, Mitchell and Brianna, for helping me believe in love again. Oh, no, wait, I'm married. I'm happily married.
May.
Eat this food for breakfast. Be a super genius later in the day. I know some podcasts would be like, stick around to the end and we'll tell you what food. But I'm just going to tell you, I'm saving you time right now. It's walnuts. A study has indicated that having walnuts for breakfast later in the day, you'll have improved reaction time on cognitive tests. You're going to think faster, according to the study, and memory benefits from walnuts. They seem to show up about 6 hours after eating the walnuts. So have them for breakfast later in the day, better memory, some sort of delayed effect. That's kind of it in a nutshell. Hey, you guys, in a nutshell. Hey, what even? Did I have walnuts for breakfast or what? Because I'm on fire. If you want to get into the science of what they think is going on with the walnuts for breakfast deal, you can read the whole study. We'll link to it in the show notes.
June.
This one might be PG-13. I don't, if the younger kids are tuned in, you may want to slap the earmuffs on the kids. Nothing you haven't heard before, but maybe the younger kids would ask questions. Why did the person remove their clothing and start dancing? Missing flight attendant located in airplane washroom dancing naked. This is British Airways. The flight had taken off. It was time for dinner service, and one of the flight attendants was missing on board. So when you go missing at work, of course your colleagues are going to look for you, unless they're the reason you're missing, I guess, but put a pin in that. We'll come to that another time. This flight attendant was missing. The crew started to search the jet, and they found the fellow naked and dancing in one of the business class washrooms. The crew suspected the fellow was under the influence of something, so he was given the rest of the day off, relieved of his duties, also given some pajamas to put on from first class, and placed in an empty seat in first class for the rest of the 10-hour flight. Eventually, the plane lands, the fellow is medically checked out, and then arrested, and an investigation continues. Boy, oh boy, imagine rolling into work and one of your colleagues is dancing naked in the washroom, and it's your job. You got to somehow take care of that situation. Locate some pajamas for them. That can't be easy.
July.
The photon matrix, which is a LiDAR-enabled laser mosquito zapper. So it uses LiDAR to detect mosquitoes and then zaps them with a laser. Like, this is high-tech stuff. Those mosquitoes don't have a chance. I was at the ball field last night, and as soon as the sun went down, the mosquitoes were bonkers. And I was like, where is my laser? Again, not product placement. This is not available yet. It's in one of those fundraising deals, one of those websites. We'll link to all of this in the show notes or click shownotes.page. The cost would be, right now you can pledge just under 500 American dollars, and that would get you a basic edition photon matrix if they do get enough money to start production.
August.
This is from a researcher at the University of Bristol who has designed a piece of music that, as you listen to it, if you also eat chocolate, it will make the chocolate taste better. There is some research behind this that the music will make the chocolate taste better. But it was commissioned by the folks behind Galaxy Chocolate, which, where I live in East Coast Canada, I think I can get a Galaxy bar. There are a few stores where I could get my hands on some Galaxy chocolate, but this will work with any chocolate. It's supposed to work with any chocolate. The research behind it, we're going to play the thing here in a sec, so if you want to get some chocolate ready, we'll give it a test. According to the research, the pitch and speed of music and the key of the musical piece can influence your perception of taste. So if you get the right piece of music, it's going to make chocolate taste creamier and sweeter. You could also tweak the thing and make it so that things taste more bitter. I mean, there's more in it there, but let's just get into what it sounds like. Let's get some chocolate going and see how this works. Well, that's a lovely song, and I would say I believe that the chocolate did taste better as I listened to that and ate some chocolate, but more research needed.
September.
Guess we got to get into the UFOs in the news. I don't know if you really follow the UFO saga, but it's interesting. If you don't, my summation of how UFO news is going these days is every so often we have one of these things where witnesses will go and give evidence, testimony, answer questions to members of the government. This occurred recently in Washington, D.C. When you come away from that, you're like, do we believe the witnesses? Do we believe the government is hiding something? Do we believe the UFOs are alien technology? Do we believe they're interdimensional or from the Bible? Some people think that. Or are they our own technology that the government is trying to suppress? There are a number of questions. This latest hearing, the House Government Oversight Subcommittee hearing into UAP or UFOs, out of this comes a video that is supposed to be tremendous UFO evidence. A UFO gets shot at, a missile goes into the UFO and bounces off, is how a lot of people describe the video. I'll link to the video if you haven't seen it. I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm not very smart. I'm not a video analysis expert for sure. And these are just sort of like radar blobs almost or whatever, black and white video. I don't know what I'm looking at. And if it's supposed to be the best evidence for UFOs that we have lately, I guess I'll end on that note.
October.
Trigger warning. It's about a food that I would think is gross, but I don't mean any disrespect. I mean, everybody has their own tastes. Maybe this is something like, I don't mean to offend you by not liking this food if you like this food. This is the Brains and Eggs bar featuring pork brain. It looks like a chocolate bar. And my fear is that somebody's handing out chocolate bars and I just unwrap that thing and start chowing down because I have a weakness for chocolate. But it actually contains, yes, chocolate, but also pork brain, caramelized pork brain. Now, if that is something that floats your boat, I will link to this thing. Maybe you want to track down this bar. It does not, it does the opposite for me. It sinks my boat. I guess that would be the opposite. It sinks my boat, the chocolate bar with caramelized pork brain. Why? Is there a market for that? Like, what is... I'm not very worldly wise. Is there a market for chocolate brains? Brains and chocolate. You got your brains in my chocolate. No, you got your chocolate in my brains. That could be the ad campaign.
November.
From the Associated Press, their headline, I should say trigger warning, this involves spiders. And good Lord. Here's the headline. Arachnid superweb reveals the surprising constant party life of cohabiting spiders. Well, number one, I'm glad spiders know how to party. I would hate to think they were just evil and creepy looking. Maybe you love spiders, so let me just say, one of my many fears, spiders. So some of what I say comes from that place. The photo that accompanies this article is what appears to be a spelunker, a person who is in a cave. They're wearing the cave attire, some sort of jumpsuit or whatever, and the helmet with the light on it. And they're standing beside a spider web that towers over them and will give you nightmares. I guarantee it. Even if you love spiders, I think this will still give you nightmares. They believe it is the largest spider web in the world, with tens of thousands of spiders discovered in a cave on the Albanian-Greek border. And besides it being enormous and terrifying, one of the most unusual things is they say spiders don't usually get along that great, that you would get tens of thousands of spiders living in one giant creepy spider web. Here's a quote from the article, one of the spider experts. I find it extremely exciting. I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to encourage you to either avoid the photos, try to put it out of your mind, or maybe face your fears and click the show notes and have a look at the giant freaky spider web.
December.
Daddy's Home, a cologne by Mug. Yes, Mug, the root beer company. If you're unfamiliar, maybe they don't have it where you are, but it's root beer. It's a soft drink. Mug root beer. Only now they've branched out into cologne, and you can purchase for a limited time the Daddy's Home cologne, which they describe as unisex. And when I read that, I was like, well, that doesn't check out. It's called Daddy's Home. Isn't it for daddies? But the mascot for Mug Root Beer is a dog. And so this cologne is supposed to be pleasing to pooches. You wear this cologne and then come home, and your pooch is going to enjoy your scent. Maybe from down the block. Every time we do a story like this, I like to acknowledge the hardworking promotional team behind the brand, because you cut through the noise, you made some headlines, you got Mug Root Beer in the news, and it ain't easy out there for a soft drink, so well done. The Daddy's Home Cologne is available for a limited time via the Mug Root Beer TikTok. You also get some delicious pop or soda. I'll put a link to it if you click the show notes. Alrighty, friends, this is Present Day Scott once again, thanking you for tuning in last year. Looking forward to a weird 2026. We'll catch you next Friday with more weird stories and fun stories from the news on What a Weird Week.